Bear. Hey, buddy. Tell us how your new box is. Whoa. Nice. Hey, baby. What are you holding? Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Here you go, grab it.
Happy hump day, y'all. I don't know why I did that country.
We're gonna talk about some movies because we love watching movies, and so does Bear. So that's why he's here too. So we have some movies we saw this week. We saw the first one we saw, I think, was iBoy.
All the movies that we're going to talk about today are all Netflix originals. We had a pretty indoors week, Monday through today, Wednesday, hump day.
Yeah.
So we watched a couple of movies, and iBoy, it was pretty decent for not being one of those main Netflix originals. You know how they always promote their biggest movies on the front page. This is all based in London. This is a high school kid. He went into his friend's apartment and she was in the middle of getting assaulted, and he ran away because several of the guys that were there, all masked, chased after him. And he got shot. He got shot in the side of his head while he was calling 911, and particles of the phone ended up going into his brain.
Maybe the cell.
I don't know. But it was an interesting concept. It didn't make much sense in the sense that he was able to do many things that your cell phone isn't able to do.
I guess you could say in a way that what he got from the cell phone was the ability to connect to things, because the cell phones are always connected to everything through the cell. Technically, your cell phone could have a direct connection to my computer. If I use an application, I install it on my cell phone, and I can actually access my computer with all its information. But it was doing some things that I didn't understand. Like, he was able to, I think, like, blow up light bulbs.
He was seeing in front of him data. If it was a holographic type of thing, but no one else can see it but him, and he can see text messages pop up right in front of his face instead of seeing his phone.
Yeah. Well, that's how it was in his brain, like in his retina, like that wasn't really there. Like, that's not information that's out there, it's just information he's in his brain. Like augmented reality, where augmented reality is not out there, but maybe you're seeing it because of something that's helping you. I don't know. It was confusing, basically, is what she's trying to say. It was like you're watching it and you're like, how
did
like
you do that?
They didn't really explain it. You know how usually movies, something happens and they end up talking to some expert that kind of helps the person out. Oh, this is probably happening because of X, X, and X. No, he just gets shot. A piece of the cell phone gets stuck in his brain, and then he can just do all these things, and it doesn't even make sense. And we're not gonna go into the movie because there's other parts that could spoil things that happen in the movie that also don't really make sense on how he's doing those things with just a chip in his brain. But still, I mean, it's not a bad movie to watch. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was well filmed.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it was a fun movie. Obviously, every movie has its flaws, but it's a great film to watch. Just hang out.
And you said it was with.
It's with Macy Williams,
who plays Arya Stark in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And
she does a good job.
For throne heads. Is that what they call it? Throne heads?
Don't know.
Game heads? No, that makes no sense.
GOTO.
Dragon head. Watch it. You know, I think, especially if you like sci-fi, watch it. If you're not into sci-fi, then you might be like, okay, well, there's a waste of time. But if you like sci-fi, it's a fun movie to watch either way. Also a Netflix original, which is crazy that Netflix is doing all these films and spending millions of dollars, and they just put it right in their platform. They're not even trying to do theater, which is what Amazon does. You know, Amazon puts their movies straight on their service, but they also release them at the theaters, or they just do they first release it at the theater and then they bring it out.
Yeah, because Amazon has their own production studio. Right?
Yeah, Amazon Studios.
Does Netflix have their own? I don't believe. I think they just fund. I don't think they have their own production studio.
I don't know exactly how Netflix works. That'd be something we'd have to look into. I think it doesn't say Netflix Studios when it's starting. So, but I don't know exactly how they do their thing. But yeah. But either way, they do all these movies and it comes straight to Netflix, which is
straight to streaming, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, this one is with the Discovery. The next movie we saw was The Discovery. It's with Robert Redford, Rooney Mara, and Jason Segel. Rooney Mara, I think, was in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That was her, right? And Jason Segel, you know, he's usually in comedies. He was in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother.
He was in the Muppets movie.
He was in the Muppet, the first one. He actually wrote and directed that movie. He wrote and produced the first Muppet. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, or he was one of the two. I know he was highly involved in that movie. The movie was interesting. It's complex, you know. It's not too complex, but certain people, like we've seen other videos online, some people even watched it several times because of
the plot of the movie is that supposedly a doctor discovered that he doesn't know what it is. He doesn't want to call it the soul, but we'll call it the soul for this purpose. It goes somewhere after death. He captured it, the waves. Brainwaves, there we go. Leaving the body. And in his discovery, hence the name of the movie.
Which is in question. If you watch the movie, there's different reasons why it could be named a discovery, which makes it very interesting. Because that's a discovery, but then there's other discoveries through the movie.
Yes, correct.
So that the name itself, you know, is clearly to us is that he has that discovery, but there's other things that happen that also could play into why the movie's called The Discovery.
Finding this out, a bunch of people started killing themselves because it shows that there's an afterlife.
Supposedly the reason why people do this is because they're having such a terrible time, and you know, if they're having a terrible time, they feel that if they kill themselves, now they know they can have a fresh start. You kind of have to sit there quiet. You have to pay. It's one of those movies where you can't be doing other things. If you're gonna watch this movie, you gotta sit there and watch this movie because it's a lot, you know. And almost every conversation they have kind of plays into something else in the movie. So it's good to pay attention to everything and everything they talk about with each other.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to the details, and it is a bit slow in a big chunk of the beginning, the first half. And I think it would have been a lot better if there was a little bit more things going on in the beginning, because it just kind of piles on. Like the pinnacle points of the movie literally piles up at the end, and that's it. You were kind of you're kind of waiting, and for people who don't want to wait, you're watching a movie, you want to enjoy the full movie, not just the ending. It's a little tough to swallow and sit there for that long time to wait for an ending. You know?
Most of the stuff happens towards the end.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think it's a really good concept, and I think it could have been done better. I guess you could say. Or maybe even with better actors. Not that these actors are bad actors, but I think you even...
Oh, yeah. Jason Segel?
Yeah.
Segel? I don't know.
Yeah.
Segel did not convince me at all in that role. I feel like the movie would have been a lot better if someone else portrayed his character.
Yeah.
I personally, I loved it. I loved the movie. Even with those little things, and obviously no movie's perfect, but I love the concept. I don't mind slow movies, so it was fine for me. And I like not knowing, you know? Like, we had to look up at the end certain things just to grasp the entire concept of the movie. which I enjoy. I love puzzles that you have to put together and try to, figure it out.
The other movie we saw was
Okja!
Okja. That movie just came out this week on Netflix as well. Like crazy actors. It's got Tilda Swinton, Stephen Yeun, or Yeun. I don't know how to say his last name. Yeun. He was in The Walking Dead. Lily Collins. It also has Jake Gyllenhaal, who always. Jake Gyllenhaal keeps surprising me. Whatever his role is, he does a really good job, and then he does a good job.
Jake Gyllenhaal is so versatile.
It's a tongue twister.
He's always surprising me in every movie we see with him.
And the movie is out there. I mean, is this a sci-fi? I mean,
fantasy, I guess.
I guess it would be fantasy. Yeah, it's more of a fantasy.
But it's like a real world fantasy, but not even. I don't know.
I guess it's based.
I don't feel like it's that much of a sci-fi at all.
Yeah, it's weird. It has a weird tone. The whole movie. The characters are sort of out there.
The characters are kind of comical.
Yes, but I think this movie was made in a way where the characters are an exaggeration of the reality. Mm-hmm. So every character that you see, even though they're kind of exaggerated in the way they are, not every single one, but some of the main characters, I think they were trying to tell us through that this is how these people are,
Mm-hmm.
But they were making sure we noticed it, that's the kind of people that you're watching. So it's very interesting, and it was well acted, I think. The movie.
Yeah. What was it about?
That is about an animal that a company creates that is supposed to kind of replace what we eat now.
It's a lot more eco-friendly, so it consumes less. It leaves less of a, what did you say, a footprint on the earth, on the environment. It produces less feces, I guess you can say.
Yeah. And it's enormous.
And it's
huge. Supposed to taste better. There's all these documentaries that come out about the way that like slaughterhouses and how we treat animals, and this is sort of goes into that. It's like a movie turned into some type of activism thing, but with this animal. So it's an interesting movie, I think. I mean, it looks like actually one of the executive producers is Brad Pitt.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
And I loved the concept of portraying something that's so real and that so many people there's such a big fight with, there's the whole veganism activist movement and the whole animal rights activist movement, and then obviously a lot of these things that have been in the news is these people that go to these other countries to kill off these animals, like rhinos and lions and tigers, and there's a big controversy on this topic, and I like the fact that they made such a fantastical way of putting that information out there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we are desensitized. Is that the word? Desensitized to regular, typical animals that we eat: pork, cows, chickens. So the fact that they made it into a fantastical creature that you can warm up to and love really shined a light onto what's going on right now in society. And it also shined a light on the lies that a lot of companies are saying about non-GMO. Supposedly they're cage-free, but they really aren't. And yeah, I really appreciated this film. I really liked the way they portrayed everything.
But I think all of these movies is not really for kids. Even Okja, I think it has curse words in it.
Okja has a couple of curse words and a little bit of, well, I guess, yes.
It's a little intense, yeah. If you're planning to show it to kids, like, you might watch the movie and really feel like it's important.
No, and the trailers
portray
it very fantastical. The trailer doesn't portray it as it you see the actual film being. I
Yeah.
didn't get from the trailer. I didn't get what it was actually about.
Yeah, exactly.
Once
yeah.
I saw it, I was like, "Whoa, this isn't a kid's fantasy movie, you know,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
a cute little weird-looking animal and
Yeah.
this little girl."
Yeah. I think a kid, if your kid is, it's like,
A teen.
yeah, like
Preteen.
a preteen around there. Just, obviously you talk to him. If they curse here or there, you can let him know, hey, look, whatever.
Yeah, and the
But-
whole slaughterhouse and some violent stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the slaughterhouse and stuff, that's happening. So if you want to teach your kids that so they know what's going on, because it's based on reality. This movie's really based on reality. It's not based on a true story, but it's set in current times. It's based on something that's currently happening, and they just did their own take on it. And then lastly, I wrote it down, but I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You might want to take over.
Gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
It's really good.
I love this show.
Yeah. Again,
Oh my
adults only.
goodness.
The show is,
Yeah,
I guess you could say it's rated R. Yeah.
Cursing all over the place.
Not okay.
Cursing
Yeah.
all over the place.
Not Game of Thrones nudity
No,
and
subtle,
cursing.
nothing weird.
Yeah, but it is an adult show, but the show is very good, very well filmed.
I absolutely love it. I love
Yeah,
it, love it,
we
love
binged it completely.
Yeah, I think we watched it in one day.
It's a really good show. It has good actors in it and actresses. And it's from the people who made Orange is the New Black. It's based on like an old movie. I never saw the movie. It's also on Netflix.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think we were laughing half the time.
Well, it's ladies learning to wrestle. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
none of them are pros. None
Yeah,
of them know
exactly.
what they're doing. It's based in the 80s. Search was for unconventional women.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of women who, back in the 80s, a lot of the roles were secretaries or, mistresses or just that sexy thing in the corner.
Like if they were trying to get a role.
Trying to get acting roles, correct. To see all the characters open up and come together as women and just have a lot of fun with what they're doing and care about this thing that they didn't even know about. They never cared about it because it wasn't a thing. This is a brand new concept for them and for the whole world in the 80s, really, was women wrestling. If you're thinking it's just going to be a bunch of women, punching each other in the faces or throwing each other over their backs, it's not. It's about each and every character and their personal things that are going on. Because it
very
focused
interesting
mainly
character.
on the two.
Yeah, focus on the two main
best
characters.
friends.
Yeah, but there's other characters in the show that if they go back into their lives, it should be very interesting to see. So I think they're kind of setting that up correctly. They're not giving it sweet, and then it's not slow. So every episode felt moving. Like it didn't feel like they were stretching the script or anything like that to try to fill time. So it was, for the most part, we were watching every episode. We were very into it. Every single episode, we're into all the conversations and the interactions. So it's very good.
Yeah, it really pulls you in and keeps you in.
Yep.
So I loved it. So that's it for us.